Tonight on EWTN Live, we'll discuss how the relics of Christ's passion and death call out to us through both reason and love. Ironically, strengthening our faith through the use of science. So please stay with us. Thank you very much and welcome. I'm Father Mitch Pacwa, and welcome to EWTN Live, where we bring you guests from all over the world. Before we get to that, we want to mention that today is the feast of Saint Augustine of Canterbury. He is one of the really amazing characters of the 6th century. He came to the home of Pope Gregory the Great, which Pope Gregory had turned over to become a monastery for the Benedictines. And St. Augustine was one of the monks. And when Pope Gregory the Great saw a number of slaves with blonde hair that were being sold in the markets, he said, "Where are they from?" And they were called Angles. They were Angles and Saxons, and he thought of them as angels. So he said to St. Augustine, "You must go to their people and bring them the freedom of Christ." And so he went over to England reluctantly. When he got to France, the French monks said, "Don't go and evangelize the Angles or the Saxons. They're really vicious." But he turned back and said to the Pope, "Could you please rethink?" But the Pope said, "Nope, go." And they were very successful. Monasteries showed Christian living, converted England, and eventually, and again, one of the great ironies, England became the first country to outlaw slavery back in the early Middle Ages. So, this is a very important saint in the history of the world. Now, as I always like to introduce, that we have guests from all over the world, and our guests tonight are from Poland. They are two Polish researchers and writers who have spent over 2 years compiling hundreds of interviews and thousands of photographs and documents into a truly insightful book called Witness to Mystery: Investigations into Christ's Relics. We have to ask, are relics such as the true cross, the crown of thorns, the holy nails, and others authentic, or are they forgeries and fakes? How do we know? And how does that impact our faith in the man who was pierced by those nails and carried that cross to his death for us? Here to talk about that and more, please welcome the two co-authors of Witness to Mystery, Investigation into Christ's Relics, Mr. GRZEGORZ GORNY and JANUSZ ROSIKON. Janusz,
nice to see you.
Zaproszę.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Witamy. You're very, very welcome here. And, you know, I loved your book. You know, I read it, the publisher sent it to me some time ago, and I just loved it. You know, I've been over to the Holy Land, and I've been over to Rome, and I've seen the relics. You gave the best explanations I've seen, so I really appreciate that. Do you mind if we ask you about a few of these relics then?
Sure.
Well, that's what we're here for. One of the questions I would ask, and I think maybe Grzegorz, you would be good at this. I want to first of all find out about the true cross. Mm-hmm. And here's why. I have read in Martin Luther and in many people since, basically imitating him, that there are so many relics of the cross, you could make 3 crosses if you put them all together. Is that true?
No, some stereotypes are deeply rooted in society. The French architect Charles de Fleury calculated the total volume of all the parts of the true cross in the world. It turned out that all fragments amounted to less than 1/9 of the cross original volume.
So it's just 1/9 the volume, not enough for 3. People didn't just keep taking old wood and put, this is just a small section,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that's, when did Charles de Fleury do that work? Do you remember?
It was in 19th century.
Yeah, I thought it was,
Yes,
I
yes,
wasn't sure the exact year, but it was the 1800s.
yes.
Yeah, okay. And go ahead.
And according to the historical sources, the Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine the Great, found 3 crosses in Jerusalem. It
Yes.
was in the year 325.
As a
And
matter of fact, if you go to Jerusalem, you can go down. There's a deep area that you go down that was a quarry for getting stone. You can see where the stone was taken, in fact. And it was used, they just threw junk in there. And that's where she found
and
it.
you can ask, you may ask, how she knew that one of these cross is a genuine, the cross, the true cross of Jesus Christ. And the answer is simple. Only one, the cross, had the titulus, which is a piece of wood which is nailed above victim's head. And
As a matter of fact, you have an imitation of it. That we were showing a picture of the actual Titulus, which she brought to Rome, correct?
yes, yes.
So, and we're showing that on the screen, so people who are watching can see close up the actual Titulus, and this is what it would have looked like newer.
And Saint Helena split the titulus into 2 parts. The first one stayed in Jerusalem and got lost during Persian invasion in the year 614.
Yes.
And the second one was brought by Saint Helena to Rome. And you can see now this titulus in Rome, in the Basilica Santa Croce di Gerusalemme.
Yeah, the Basilica of Santa Croce di Gerusalemme is built over the place where she had her home.
Yes, yes. This basilica used to be the palace of Saint Helena.
Yes, yes. She even brought loads of dirt from Jerusalem to put in the floor
Yes.
so that you would be in Jerusalem, you know, when you went there.
To Rome and to the Trier in Germany.
Yes.
Saint Helena had the second palace in Trier.
Exactly. And so you've got the true cross and the Titulus. Now, the Titulus, Janusz, how authentic is it? How true is it? Czy jest prawdziwe o nie?
Yeah, we know that is true because that was examined by many scientists, also from Jerusalem University. They took how was written, and this kind of letters they use -50 +50, so it's sure. And also the wood is from
Walnut wood.
yeah, a kind of walnut nuts.
Oh, a walnut.
Walnut,
A walnut that grows
yeah.
there.
Yeah, because the Holy Cross is from black tree, but this also the scientists tell that this piece of wood had about 2,000 years. So
the wood of the Titulus is 2,000 years.
yeah, and also the
And-
letters.
But see, that's very important
Yeah,
because scholars study the way letters changed over time.
yeah,
Papyrologists who study papyri, they'll notice, just like in English, the way that they make the S today is different than the S back in the time of George Washington. It changes, and I'm sure in Polish and every language. So this is the kind of script, the formation of the letters, that was from 50 BC to 50 AD
AC. Yeah,
for all three languages.
yeah,
Yes.
That's the other thing.
yeah,
For all three languages, it's authentic
yeah.
for that 100 years.
And it's exactly like we know from the gospel. So it's coincidence between this piece of wood and the gospel.
Yes.
So of course now we don't have many tools for examining the wood, but these tools we've got.
And,
tell-
and in fact, you can read it, and it says very clearly in Hebrew, Yeshua HaNatzri Melech HaYehudim. So Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. And the same thing, Jesus Nazarenos Basileus Judaion, excuse me. And then just Jesus of Nazareth, just J for Jesus of Nazareth,
Yeah.
King of the Jews. So this is the same thing that the gospel says, all three languages,
Yes.
script at the right time.
And this is a copy 1-to-1. It's 50 centimeters by 14 centimeters.
So this is the exact same size
Same
that it
size.
would have been at the time of Christ, as the Titulus in Santa Croce.
Yes.
Yeah. In Santa Croce is a half, of course, because
Yes, right.
half disappeared, but we've got half, and it's possible to visit every day this basilica, beautiful basilica.
It is. It really is. Also, for folks that say, well, walnut, I didn't know walnut trees grow in Israel. But in fact, there is a whole neighborhood of modern Jerusalem called Wadi Joz, which is the Arabic, the Valley of the Walnuts. So it's still called, it still has the same name, Wadi Joz. So I don't know how many walnut trees are still there, but mostly houses now. So that fits
Yeah.
archaeologically.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
What else do you have that you studied? That what other items did you study for your book?
When we visited Jerusalem, when we decided to prepare this book, because for us, after many discussions, we travel a lot, making a book about St. Faustina, Trust, just published it also in English, and we discussed many times that everybody leaves some remains, everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, Jesus must leave some relics, that's for sure. And the apostles must keep, especially after resurrection. So we decided we have to look for those relics and prepare a book. So the first our trip was to Jerusalem, and we prepare the Station of the Cross, way of the cross, and study gospel and look for some details from the gospel, like tunic without any shoe, like
Without any seam.
seam. Sorry, my English. Without any seam, way from the top of the bottom in one piece, and we found this tunic, and the nails, the crown of thorn. We didn't know where are those relics. We know, of course, the Shroud of Turin. That's sure, we know. But we look for the another remains, relics of Jesus Christ. And after our visit in Jerusalem, we spent fantastic time to talking to meeting some scientists. We go
Were these the scientists that studied the
those letters and Pauline, because there are many aspects to examine the relics, like Turin Shroud. Many teams from Italy, France, United States examine Turin Shroud. So there are many aspects, many biologists, medicine, etc. Physicists, sure.
Yes, I know Dr. John Jackson.
The fantastic person, who organized in 1978 American team traveling to Turin. We've met also Barry Schwartz, photographer, my colleague photographer.
Yes.
So,
he was on our show last fall.
Yeah.
So these are serious people.
Yeah.
Who are doing very close research.
Yeah.
On the shroud.
Yeah. Yes. And apropos serious people, one day we decided to go to Paris, because we know that in Paris is a crown of the thorn, and we visited church every first Friday of the month. This relics is shown to the people. It's a beautiful ceremony, beautiful. The Cathedral de Notre Dame in Paris is full of pilgrims, not tourists.
Right.
So it's a special procession organized by Knights of Holy Sepulchre with the cross, with beautiful ceremony.
They were caped with the Jerusalem cross.
Yeah, and show these relics, and the people go to the relic, touch, kiss, and its atmosphere is something unbelievable. We try to show in our books. In our books, there are not only words but also a picture. We try to show the atmosphere, the emotion, not only just relics and
science.
So and after this visit in Cathedral Notre Dame, we've met Professor Gérard Licotte, very well-known genetic professor, member of French Academy of Science.
Yeah, so he studies genetics.
Yeah. And he at some point to the DNA chain, he found something very special. So he's well known all over the world. We've met him not far away from the Cathedral Notre Dame in Paris, because he examined, together with André Marion, the another professor, the Tunic of Argenteuil.
So Argenteuil is a town, correct? Yes. And there's a tunic there. And why did you study that tunic?
This tunic is the robe of Jesus Christ. This garment was woven without seams, and Jesus Christ was wearing this robe on the way to Golgotha. And later, the Roman soldiers cast lots for it. And this garment is located now in the Basilica in Argenteuil, in the suburbs of Paris. And this garment was examined by Dr. Gérard Licotte.
Yeah, and André Marion died, so we've met only Gérard Licotte. And the first words he told, "I'm agnostic." He's a member of Academy of...
Sure.
So
he's got to be agnostic for a living.
Yeah. but but he examined those tunic very, very deeply. So they use a kind of microscope, electronic microscope.
Checking
etc.
out the DNA.
Yeah. No DNA.
Oh, okay.
No, just a group of blood, the wounds on the tunic, and is so. And after many studies, he tells us that's for sure that this tunic and Turin shroud is the same person.
So that, how could he tell that? So that the Shroud of Turin
was
covered the body
of the same person
that wore the
had,
tunic.
Yeah, but this tunic is full of blood, because this person who had this tunic was tortured, and after that probably was crucified. But that was torture, and on this tunic there are many, many wounds. So,
so for instance, you know, on the Shroud of Turin, you can see where the whip
yeah,
and the wounds of the whip, you know, on the body are there. And you can see those on the
same,
tunic
yeah,
at the same, so that
places.
So you could overlap them.
Yeah.
And it's the same wounds on the tunic
and
on
shroud.
the shroud.
And he did it. He made a plan of the wounds and compare with Turin shroud. So he said us, that's 100% that this tunic of Argenteuil that was used for the same person who was covered by
Shroud of
Turin.
Mm-hmm. And see, you know, I've spoken to I've gone to Dr. Jackson's museum in Colorado Springs, which is a great place to go if any of you have a chance to go to the Springs. But I don't remember him telling me that. So this was new to me, and I was very, very fascinated by this.
Yeah, because Mr. Jackson examined only Turin shroud. Mm-hmm. Like we spent many hours with Barry Schwartz, and he tell us many details about the Turin shroud. Barry knows also Sudarium of Oviedo, because this.
What is the Sudarium of Oviedo?
Yeah.
Where is Oviedo?
Oviedo is Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
The Sudarium of Oviedo is the Christ's burial cloth, but different than others. The Jews believed that life is in the blood.
Right.
And each drop of blood had to be buried with the deceased person's body. And they put the linen veil around the victim's head to stop the bleeding. And this linen veil is so called in Latin Sudarium.
Mm-hmm. And which is from the Greek word sundarion.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's just the Latin form of the Greek word. So it's
Yes.
they use that Greek word sundarion or sundarion.
Mm-hmm. And it was examined by a team of Spanish experts in criminology, and they proved that this Sudarium of Oviedo is a genuine relic of Christ. They did the research on the blood, on the fabric, on the pollen, and many more. Pollen, and many more. Mm-hmm. It's located. This Sudarium is located in the Cathedral San Salvador in Oviedo, Spain.
Which means Holy Savior Cathedral. You see, one of the things for folks to understand is that, you know, there's pollen in the cloth. It's just embedded. It's not sprinkled on it. It's in the weave. It's in the cloth, and it's pollen from Israel.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's specific
Yes.
pollens from Israel that that are found in all three claws.
Yes, they are endogenic pollen, only from Israel, only from Holy Land.
Yep. So that that particular some plants only grow there,
Yes.
and the combination of those plants would only be there. So at the very least, you must say scientifically, all three claws were with the same person, and all three of them were in Jerusalem. Because I think they also have dust from Jerusalem, limestone dust.
Yeah, is the same, but they examine also the dust and is from this part of Jerusalem,
Right.
about 30 kilometers around the Jerusalem. So I think for us it's very clear that now we have what the scientists call circumstantial evidence. So clearly demonstrating that those three relics located one in Turin, one not far away from Paris, France, one in Spain, that from the same
person,
same story, same person,
same area,
yeah.
same neighborhood of Jerusalem. See, again, so folks understand, limestone has traces of strontium in it, and you use strontium to identify it like you use a fingerprint on a human being.
Yeah.
And so that's how they can tell exactly where it's from, right around the tomb of Jesus.
And this Turin of South Turin was examined by many teams from all over the world. This Sudarium of Oviedo examined during 1.5 or 2 years about 40 criminologists, specialists, who now works together with police for looking for
evidence.
Yeah.
So this is the Spanish CIS.
Yeah, yeah. So and we've met few of them, but there were very interesting meetings. So now they're completely clear that those three relics are genuine, they're not false.
And I think those are some of the most important relics. But you also studied the nails. Where are the nails that were in Jesus' hands?
And the true cross had 3 nails. Now only 1 holy nail is complete. The other 2 were cut into pieces and spread all over the world. Mm-hmm. And this complete nail is the Basilica Santa Croce di Gerusalemme.
In Rome?
In Rome. It's impossible to tell how old this nail is, right. But it was compared with another nail from the 1st century. This nail was found during archaeological dig in 1968 in North Jerusalem.
Right.
It's nailed. It was nailed to the feet of the crucified man.
Right. You can see it in the Israel Museum. It's there.
Yeah.
So
yes.
it's a nail that goes through a man's 2 feet.
Yes. And 2 nails are identical, 100% match.
Right. Right. So there was certainly the nails of that century. They found it in a little tomb. Now, as you look at this, how at all of these different relics, does that help your faith or not?
For sure help, because if you know, I made many pictures like this nail in Santa Croce di Gerusalemme. I spent over the hour. I've got special permission for taking pictures, and when I took a picture, a woman, Hungarian woman, gypsy woman, just asked me, "This is the real nail from the cross?" I said, "Yes." And she cried. She cried, "Oh my God, I've seen the real relics." That was something unbelievable for me. I stopped for a few minutes my work. I just tell her, and this is real cross. Yes, a piece of real cross is also in this place. So she cried. So there are many pilgrims who look for Jesus Christ relics, but when we visit Paris, I ask many my French friends, "Do you know where is crown of Jesus?" Nobody knows. We look in some guides, nothing about this, nothing. So why? I don't know.
People, you know, it's no longer, the faith is not part of the environment in a sense.
Yeah.
And you lose it. That's why we are so glad to have you, to be able to remind us you can go to Paris and not only see Mona Lisa,
Yeah.
but see the crown of thorns. And you know, you can go to, see the Tunic. You can go to Oviedo, not just have a glass of wine and some olive oil on bread, but see the Sudarium and so on. So, and of course, right now, the Shroud of Turin is on exhibit. I don't know if you can even get tickets anymore, but it's on the exhibit to see. We want to encourage you to take a look at this wonderful book, Witness to Mystery, Investigations of Christ Relics. You can get that at EWTN's Religious Catalog. You can go on the website, EWTNRC.com, or you can call Religious Catalog for this book. It's 1-800-854-6316. The pictures are wonderful. The photographs are wonderful. You did a very good job.
Thank you
Janusz.
very much.
And we encourage you to read the content. You both did a wonderful job on the research. We're going to take a break and come back in a couple of minutes. We want to get your questions as well as questions from our studio audience, so please stay with us. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to invite you to come down here on pilgrimage. We love having you be part of it, and it's raining tonight, but it's been really good weather so far this spring. It's been beautiful, and we'd love to have you join us. So if you can, contact our pilgrimage department at 205-271-2966, or go to our website, EWTN.com. They'll give you information about the times of programs and masses, places to stay, and instructions on how to get up to Hansville to see the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament. You all went up there today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it? Did you like it up there?
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. We have a question here from our studio audience. Ma'am, where are you from?
I was born in Poland.
Welcome, witamy.
Dziękuję.
Bardzo mi miło, nam miło.
Mi również, całej rodzinie. But now we live in the northern suburb of Dallas in McKinney, in Texas. And my question for the guests is: Did anyone had anyone ever tried to disprove your work, your evidence?
No, in this book, nobody tells that is not true what Grzegorz is written. I took pictures, so they're also originals. But I remember quite interesting story when some specialists decided to use a proof of C14, yeah, for Turin shroud, and the first.
Yeah, it's carbon 14.
Carbon 14. Carbon 14.
Which is a type of carbon that decays at a fixed rate.
Exactly.
And that archaeologists and anthropologists use that to date things that used to be alive.
And they decided to use to the Turin shroud. And the first is a false. So on the first pages of the newspapers, Turin shroud is not true. But 3 months later, I found in the same newspaper information that Russian scientist, physician, very famous, tell you are ignorant that you use this kind of proof for the Turin shroud. You never will have good results because this kind of proof is impossible to test this shroud that was 2 fires, etc., etc., many candles. So, for what?
Right.
This physician tell, I'm atheist, but you are crazy that you do this. But that was on the inside the small information, not on the first page of the newspaper.
So the atheist Russian physician said their methodology was not good. It was false methodology.
Absolutely.
And even though he doesn't believe, he just said, don't do it wrong.
And the sample tested is not representative for the Turin shroud. Why? Because the Turin shroud made of linen without any coloring, and the sample contained some cotton with yellow coloring. Why? Because in the 16th century there was a fire in the chapel in Chambéry. It burned some holes in the Turin shroud, and then the poor clerics restored it, and the sister used yellow cotton. What does it mean? This sample is not representative for the Turin shroud.
So that part of it was medieval.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, because that's when they fixed it. So what we're gonna do was something I never dared to do as a kid. We're gonna blame the nuns. We have another caller. Hello, John.
Hello, Father Mitch.
How you doing, John?
Okay tonight.
Good. What can we do for you?
Well, I hope I have a good question.
We do too.
This is for another relic from the sufferings of God. The Sword of Longinus is commonly referred to, I think. This was the Roman soldier that took the lance and pierced the side of Jesus and went into his heart. And of course, the Bible testifies that blood and water issued forth. And I was wondering if they knew what happened to it, or you, Father Mitch. And also, it was rumored, I read this in a book, that Hitler stole the lance, and he had it deep in Germany, guarded by the notorious SS so that nobody could take it. And who knows, maybe that helped defeat Nazism. I'll hang up.
All right.
The Holy Lance of Longinus, made of a long wooden tube and a metal tip.
Yeah, so it had a long wooden shaft, and then the metal tip, which would be
Yes.
typical of spears.
Yes, and this tip was lost in Paris during the French Revolution, and the metal tip is located now in the vault in Basilica St. Peter's in Rome.
So it's in St. Peter's. So that's where the tip of the spear of Longinus is now in St. Peter's.
Yes, yes,
Right.
and
Yeah.
scientists claim this is a type of Roman spears, so-called hasta. This is typical for Roman legionaries. It's impossible to tell how long this spear is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Disappeared.
You can't date it because there's
Yeah.
no carbon-14.
Yeah.
It's metal.
Metal.
So
So,
but it's that's what you have there, and it's not in Hitler's vault. It's not with the Ark of the Covenant in Washington in a vault. It's or any other thing of fiction, but it's in Rome.
yeah.
We have a question here from our studio audience. Ma'am, where are you from?
Well, originally from Colombia, South America, and now we live in Montgomery, Alabama.
Good to have you here.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Father, my question to the guests is, have you ever been disappointed in finding a relic that you thought this is going to prove to be true, and yet you find out later on it wasn't, and it was a huge disappointment to you?
It's quite a difficult question because we visited many shrines, and if you see the small piece of wood, the tiny, and tradition of the church tell that is a true cross. I made a picture. Sometimes I spent hours to want to take a good picture, but it's impossible to be sure that this tiny piece of wood is from real cross. It's impossible to examine this, because for examination it will be necessary to use half of this, and normally it's in the piece of crystal, because Christians protect very much the small pieces of wood.
Sure.
So probably in the future, people will find tools for examining this, but now not.
Right.
But
It's too small.
it's too small.
To test it, you'd have to destroy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for what? Destroy?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think in our practice we see that Jesus Christ left us many letters. So it's possible to read now, not 100 years ago, but now we've got enough tools. But what kind of tools we'll have in the future, and what we found, nobody knows.
It's interesting too, because what you said about Paris, that people don't know where the crown of thorns is. We live in an age of great skepticism and doubt,
Yeah.
a lot of cynicism. And one of the things that is amazing is that same sometimes cynicism that pushed scientists to keep studying more has made it possible for us to look at these symbols of faith that we took only on faith and tradition. But the more we looked at them with the tools of the skeptics, the more it reduces our skepticism. That's one of the ironies for this
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah, it's true, but it's very good feedback for us that we've got some phone calls from readers who tell us thank you for this book, because we went from doubt to not doubt, from not believer to believer. So
Right.
so is very important, because we've met many scientists, and scientists believe. Because if they found that those relics is exactly like we found in the gospel, and you know, that's sure that this relics is 2,000 years old. So
it's, as we say in English, if it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, then it's a duck.
yeah.
So, sir, where are you from?
Roswell, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta.
Sure, good to have
St.
you here.
Peter Chanel Parish.
Good to have you. And your question?
Yeah, my question is, if this was the sign that was on the cross of Jesus, and today when we see a cross, it has the 4 alphabet, I-N-R-I?
Yes.
Is there any reason for that, or is that
So why is it on the cross that you, when we see a crucifix and we see the Titulus on a crucifix, it doesn't look like this, it only has 4 letters, I-N-R-I. Do you know why?
I think it's more easier for artists, and they use 3 languages. For father, no problem. But they know English. So if you put just 4 letters,
And
it's very clear. It's like symbol.
Right, it's the 4 letters of the first words in Latin on the Titulus.
Yeah.
So the I for Jesus, because they didn't have a J, they just used I,
Yeah,
Jesus, and then N, Nazarenos, from Nazareth, Rex, R, means king in Latin, and then
Iudarum.
Iudarum, the other I, is for the word for Jews.
Yeah.
So if you go into Greek Orthodox churches, you don't see that. You see I, N, B, I, but it's actually Yoda, Nun,
Basileus.
Beta, and Nun, because it's Jesus, Jesus, Nazarenos, Basileus, Judaion. So they do it in Greek, and it's just shorthand.
Yeah.
Shorthand for artists that are just trying to get a lot of pictures done.
But I found on many, not many pictures, but in the museum that is all Jesus Rex Nazarenum.
Right.
Yes. So sometimes the artists are not lazy and put all.
Yes. Matter of fact, I have one artist who made a replica of the exact replica of the Titulus to put on the crucifix in my chapel at home. Yes. We have another question from our studio audience. Ma'am, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in the Philippines
Good to have you here.
and then now reside in Tucson, Arizona.
Great. And your question?
My question is, I believe that Veronica's veil is part of the relics, but I didn't hear that much about it. Besides, of course, the Shrouded Turin is a big.
Sure.
And then what happened to that veil right now? Where is it?
Okay, so she wants to know about Veronica's veil. What do you have on that?
It's quite complicated, but
It's-
Grzegorz is
it is,
specialist.
because they did a nice section on it, by
Yeah.
the way. Very nice section on it in the book.
The scientists claim the Veronica is the veil of Manopello. The veil of Manopello is Christ's burial cloth, but different than others. This veil is a kind of burial cloth which is put on the dead person's face. This veil made of byssus, the most expensive material in the world.
Okay, so
byssus.
yeah, byssus is made from what?
Byssus, so-called sea silk, is obtained from matter of pearl. To make 1 kilogram of byssus, you need 1,000 of samples of the matter of pearl.
So
And-
what they do is they take the mother of pearl. Now that's the inside of the oyster shell. No?
The line between shelf and some roads or some rocks.
yeah,
It's not inside. It's outside.
So the
But
mother of pearl is on the outside of the shell.
Yeah. But the shelf is the size like this.
Okay.
Those shelves.
So they take the mother of pearl off of the oyster shell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they put from 1,000 shells.
Yeah.
They get it to make 1 kilo. That'd be 2
pounds. Yeah.
in an American weight. 2 pounds of busis.
Yes.
Now, and so this is the most expensive.
Yes. The most
cloth
expensive.
that you can that ever gets made.
It's only one person who made this. Grzegorz visited
Yes.
her.
I mean, today
Today.
only
Yeah,
one
today.
person in the world knows how to make
Yes.
it.
In the island Sant'Antiochio, near island Sardinia.
Okay.
And it's impossible to paint on pieces because the paint runs of it as it does of the mother of pearl.
Okay.
Now, however, you can see the image of Christ's face on this veil.
Yes. So it's not painted.
No.
Because it's impossible to have paint, but you can see the face of Christ on that veil. And that is at Monopolo.
Manopolo.
Yes.
Monopolo in Italy.
In Italy, yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
in Abruzia.
In
Okay.
Abruzia.
So
And the scientists compared the image of Christ's face on the veil of Manopello with the image of Christ's face on the Turin shroud by placing one on
top of the
on
other.
top and another, and they are identical, 100% match.
Okay, so they match completely. Now, we had one person that couldn't get to their call because we're running out of time. What is the blood type of Jesus? Is that been studied?
AB.
AB. Yeah, that's what I thought. It would say, so, and all of the relics that have the blood
Yes,
is
AB.
AB. Okay. And
Nobody examined the veil of Manopello, but the three, Oviedo, Argenteuil, and Turin, the same.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We want to encourage you to take a look at this book. Again, it's called Witness to Mystery, Investigations into Christ's Relics. It is available at EWTN's Religious Catalog. You can go to EWTNRC.com, or you can call 1-800-854-6316. I found it very fascinating. I hope you get to do the same. I want to thank you, Dziękuję bardzo, and may the Lord bless all of you and cause his face to shine upon you. And may the light of faith that comes forth from these relics, from the Word of God, and from the living out of our Christian life be upon you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
You know, and this year, because of the Shroud of Turin exhibit, we've done a couple programs on the Shroud. Jeanette has done 5 programs. We can do this program on the other relics, but we can do these only because this network is brought to you by you. So please keep us in between your gas bill, your electric bill, and your cable bill. And God willing, all through the summer, we'll be able to pay our bills too. God bless you and thank you.